Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
We're loving this. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is wonderful. So, hi guys, welcome to another Beyond Education Insight event, virtual insight event. Today we are with the one and only Centrica team, and they are going to be talking about all things internship, placements, grad schemes, everything for the 2026 year. So please, 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 you know how we do it. Drop your name, your LinkedIn into the chat so that people can get to know you, get to connect with you. I'll start first. Oh no, someone's done that before me. Wow. Wow. I didn't think that would happen, but wow, thank you for that. Hi Mercy, hi Baloo. Good evening, everybody. Drop in your names, your LinkedIn so people can connect with you. I've just dropped in mine. We're just gonna wait for another 30 seconds and then we'll get off and start. I'm so glad that everyone's on time. 71 people in here. That is amazing on a Thursday evening. You guys are ready to get jobs, and I love that. For 30 seconds. Starts off. I'd love to have everyone to kind of in the chat. You don't know the next person.
Oh, Demi, we can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. So sorry about that. Yeah, you don't know who is next to you. Your next colleague could be next to you. Your next internship partner could be next to you. So please connect, share experiences, share knowledge, and yeah, so excited. We're gonna start off in, should we say 10 seconds, Alexandra?
Yeah.
Or 20? Which one is it? Should we wait? No?
I think let's get started. We've got enough people here.
Perfect. Amazing. Good evening, everybody. My name is Demi. I am founder associate here at Beyond Education, and welcome to another fantastic Insight Invest today with the Centrica team. Thank you all so much for joining in the evening. It's amazing to have all of you guys here. I will not be hosting today's session. Our beautiful Alexandra would be hosting today's session. Alexandra is a career strategist, a speaker, and a consultant, and she helps early career professionals and career changers to step confidently into the workspace. So just know that you are in safe hands today. She's very passionate about the work she does, and she will be leading us and the Centrica team to an amazing employer introduction event. So please welcome to the stage, Alexandra.
Thank you for such a warm welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. We do have a lot to get through in such a short period of time. But as Demi said, that I am a career strategist, a consultant, and I am passionate about getting people into the careers that they love, especially early years professionals and career changers as well. So looking forward to hearing all of your amazing questions. And we have the Centrica team as well on the call. So if I start off with Lisa Taylor, if you could introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here tonight. My name is Lisa Taylor. I'm an emerging talent recruitment specialist for Centrica. So I'll be looking forward to taking you through some of your questions later. And it's wonderful to see you here. I'm not sure if some of you did attend the event that we hosted last week in our Windsor office. If you did, I'm sorry I missed you because I was very poorly with the cold, but I'm feeling much better now and I'm looking forward to hosting some of your questions tonight. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Lisa. And we also have a few graduates on the call from various different areas of the business. So one of them being Tatiana, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. So I'm a people graduate. So for most people, that will be the HR function. I'm currently in the people transformation team. I did the internship for Centrica in 2023 in the people team as well. I went to Durham Uni and yeah, having a great time.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And we also have Anjali from a completely and totally different area of the business.
Hello everyone, lovely to meet you all. I'm a commercial analyst, so on the grad scheme as well. I started Centrica in 2023 on the internship and then joined back on the grad scheme where I worked in data science, and then now I'm currently in the Hive propositions team. Yeah, lovely to meet you all.
Amazing. And we also have Saqib.
Hi guys. So yeah, I'm Saqib. I'm one of the DTS grads, which is the tech grad scheme. And I've only been here for a year. I didn't do the internship like the others. I started off as a data scientist and now I'm doing like ML ops kind of work. So yeah.
Amazing. And I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody else from the Centrica team. So if there is anyone else that's on the call that we didn't get to see earlier, I'm not sure if Joella is on the call.
Hi.
Or oh, Joella is here. Yes.
Hi, yeah, sorry, I had a problem, so I had to move my car.
No problem. We're happy that you're here. So if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Joella. I am a process engineering graduate in the engineering scheme. I did the summer internship. I don't know, last year. And I'm the same as Anjali, so I've been working for a year on the graduate scheme, now on my second placement.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And do we have Sophie on the call? No. Okay, no problem. So that is all of the Centrica team. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. If you have questions, obviously you can pop them directly into the chat. I think one of the main things that people are going to want to know is how can we join Centrica? What's the best way and what are the timings, the dates, all of those things. So Lisa, if I hand over to you to talk about the timeline and what everybody needs to have ready for them to be successful in their application.
Absolutely, thank you. So at the moment, we're talking summer internships and year in industry opportunities that we've just went live with yesterday. So for those pathways, they are now live on the Centrica Careers website. There's a range of opportunities that may interest you across some of our fantastic functions, whether it be people HR, DTS, engineering. So please do log on to the Centrica Careers page and have a look and see if anything inspires your interest. We're hoping to go live with our graduate roles later, but at the moment it's just the summer intern and the year in industry roles that we've got open. I guess from a summer intern perspective, there's a real objective there because it's not just the 9 weeks of the summer that we want you to join us. We want you to join us. We want you to obviously have a kind of little insight as to how it is working for Centrica and get the most out of that 9 weeks. But the objective is to bring you back that following year in a graduate role. And we've done such a great job with our conversions this year that we've nearly met all of our grad demand plan for the following year. So I think the objective is very clear with regards to summer interns, and it's really just to realise what the opportunity is. It's not just 9 weeks. academics. It's so much more. And the same with the year in industry students that join us for just over 13 months. They will get the same opportunity to come back in a graduate role, obviously. And some of our students defer because they go on to further education, but that's a talent pool that we keep very much close to. So the opportunity is very much there for you. In terms of what we look for during that application, the application process is very, very simple. You'll just tell us a few information about yourself, and then you'll complete some assessments. Our assessments are very much in line with our core values and our behaviours. And we do consider them, which is role dependent, psychometric testing, verbal reasoning, numerical. So we do take some of those scores into consideration, which is very much role dependent. The CV is absolutely everything. A fully comprehensive CV. Don't leave anything out. If you think, I'm not sure if I'm going to put that in there, put it in there if it's relevant about your growth mindset, about your career goals. And the CVs that really stand out are the ones that kind of ooze passion about, I've done my homework, I've looked in Centrica's shop window, and I really like what I see. But not only that, you like everything that we're trying to do with our net zero ambition. We're helping the planet, we're helping the communities. It's everything that we're doing as a business that if it aligns with you, give us an application and talk to us about why our core values align with you. That's going to make you stand out during your application.
Thank you so much, Lisa. There were a couple of questions and I know that they are being answered in the chat, but just to make sure that it's super duper clear, you spoke about the CV. You want passionate CVs to be submitted where clearly there's been a lot of research done about Centrica and why somebody wants to join.
Yes.
One of the questions was, can I apply to them if I'm a foundation year student in Kingston University studying finance and accounting to build up my CV, please? And so yes, all university students can apply because you're eligible, which is amazing.
Yep.
The thing is though, obviously Centrica goes beyond what most organizations are doing at the moment because you care about sustainability. Sustainability is really important across the globe at the moment. So what are some of the passions that you would be wanting to see on a CV that would make a candidate stand out?
Yeah, it's about them being aware of our people and planet plan. I guess that's during their research, you know, what resonates with them. They want to leave a lasting legacy as well. We get a lot of that passion. And it's not just the engineering or the DTS function that work incredibly well together because we need that technical solutions of the future. But everyone can contribute to our people and planet plan, our net zero ambitions. Everyone can come in and help us achieve that by living our values. So I guess from that perspective, how do we translate that into a CV? Someone has done their homework. They're very much invested in what we're trying to do as a business, and you know their personal core values align to what we're trying to do as a business and how much investment we're making into that net zero ambition. So, and that can be, it doesn't need to, that candidate doesn't have to have any relevant experience there, but I think it's what's important to them because it is important to young people now. If they think about 20, 30 years time, where they're going to be, where their children's going to be, what can we do now? So I think it's really finding the students that want to help work with us and basically deliver our net zero plan.
That's great, Lisa. Thank you so much for covering that. So I hope everybody took on board how important sustainability is and how you're going to help to move forward the people and planet agenda as well. I want to open up to all of our grads, and there is, again, in the chat, lots of questions around experience. I don't have a lot of experience. Was there anybody, and I'm assuming that most of you might have been in the same boat in terms of not having a lot of experience before applying? So Joella, I want to ask you this question and then I'll go through and ask the others. What was your experience like in terms of work or anything like this? Did you ever work with a company like Centrica beforehand, or did you just apply? What made you even apply to Centrica in the first place?
So I had done an internship before I applied to Centrica's internship, but it was really unrelated. It was doing statistics, which, because I was applying for process engineering experience is like what actually matters in terms of the technical skill set. But you don't need that for the internship. And actually, what was picked up on in my interviews and things like that was experience I had doing extracurricular activities. Like, there's so many societies that you can join at university where you can take up roles. So I was vice president of the Christian Union, and I planned lots of events for that. And I designed merchandise for the Chemical Engineering Society. And both of those were things where I'd taken my own initiative and had experience organizing and planning things and doing stuff alongside my degree, that were picked up on as experience. And that's experience you can build up without needing to get, other internships before the internship, or else it's an infinite loop of no experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Joella, and hopefully that answers the question around experience. But just also to double down, Saqib, can you talk about what your experience was like before you joined Centrica? Did you have any working experience, or was this your first ever internship?
So yeah, the year before I did an internship, but it was at a different company, so it was a bank, and I was doing tech, but to be honest, I didn't really learn all that much. And then when it came to applying for Centrica, luckily the DTS grad program, so the technology program, even though they're looking to hire people who will eventually become software engineers or data scientists, they don't actually have any hard requirements for technicals. So the degree I did was engineering, so I didn't actually have very much programming experience. But instead, one thing I noticed, particularly in the application, is they're looking more at your curiosity and your potential to succeed. And I think really, as long as you go in there, go into the interviews confident and show that you're genuinely passionate about the company, the role, really should be fine. Because I honestly came in with very little coding experience, and obviously now I've got over a year's experience here. So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. So it sounds like it's a great place to grow as well. So long as you are passionate and you are curious, then you can develop within the organization, which is great long term, isn't it? Amazing. Yeah. I want to go back to you, Lisa, because there is a question around how many roles are available in terms of the internship. So it would be great to know how many people you're looking to take on board.
We've just put, I think, 16 roles out there at the moment, predominantly for summer interns, across business management, procurement, commercial marketing, engineering, people HR, environmental analysts. You've listed some there in the chat, finance, commercial. So they're all live on our careers website. I think altogether we're probably got just over 40 vacancies live at the minute. Obviously, each stream will have their own required number. And obviously, we will advertise all of October. Most of the roles will still open, will stay open until the end of October, but please do get your application in there quickly. You'll be screened quite quickly as well, because we like to keep on top of the applications. And then we'll prepare candidates, successful candidates, for Teams interviews, and then onto our assessment centres in November.
That is absolutely amazing. Right, so hopefully that answers that question for everybody in terms of when, how many roles there are. Now I'm going to ask, everything is open now, live, so you can apply straight away. I know that there is a link in the chat. If I can ask for the link to be shared again, so that you're making sure that you're saving and bookmarking that particular link. What's the timeline then for the deadline? When is the hard deadline for applications?
Yeah, all of our vacancies typically are open until the 31st of October. We do allow that 31 days to make sure that we work with some talent attraction partners as well. So just to make sure that the roles are live, they're getting the coverage to the candidates that needed. But sometimes, obviously, we can close a role early, and that's if we're inundated with applicants. We've got a very strong brand, and we always get some really, really good numbers for all of our roles. That's why it's very much key to get that application as soon as possible. But for some roles, we might leave them open for as long as the 31st of October, but for some roles, we may close them 2 weeks after posting. That's why we would encourage early applications for success.
So that answers one of the questions where there was, if people need additional support, do you require evidence to be submitted, or is it confidential? So I'm not sure, Toluwani, whether this is a question that you're asking. Is there application support available as well? What's the process like in terms of, is there like a help desk, or it's laid out pretty straightforward in terms of getting, because I guess everyone's really eager, they want to make sure that they do it correctly, and so where can they get support for that?
Yeah, there's an email address that should be very visible during your application that we all pick up on. In terms of reasonable adjustments, if you need reasonable adjustments for an interview or assessment centre, that's part of our screening questions. All information provided is completely confidential. And if you do need reasonable any adjustments made to manage your interview or potentially an assessment centre, if you just let us know that you do need reasonable adjustments made, we will do everything that we can to make sure that we can offer that to people that need it.
Thank you so much. Now I want to go back and post a question, because there was a question around, do you accept anybody from non-Russell groups in universities, basically? So I want to ask all of the graduates first before I come back onto you, Lisa. Which universities did you go to? Because then there's evidence. Sakib, if I start off with you.
I went to Warwick University.
Okay. Tatiana?
I went to Durham.
Okay. And Joella?
I went to Imperial College.
Okay. And Anjali?
I actually went to Royal Holloway, which is not a Russell Group university, but I think at no time in the application process or during the interview process or even in the internship itself, I felt like I was ever kind of below anyone or didn't have the same opportunities available. I think what really kind of got me the internship itself was just kind of showing that curiosity and interest into Centrica, rather than relying on just kind of my university name. So I think it matters if you're actually passionate about what you want to do. And there's so many kind of resources and news on Centrica and things that you can look at. So yeah, I don't think that really made an impact for me.
That's amazing. And that's such an authentic answer as well. So I hope that answers everyone's question, because I'm sure that more than one person probably thought of that. So Lisa, this question is for you. And this person wants to know about your journey. How did you get to where you are now?
Probably, I would say, well, I come from Aberdeen, Scotland, and for a long time we had a very buoyant oil and gas industry in Aberdeen. We're very much focused on renewable energies now, so that oil and gas industry that I once knew it isn't obviously the size that it was. So I got my experience in recruitment with oil and gas recruitment and spent about 25 years in oil and gas. And then I needed to do something different because the work wasn't here. But I could still use the same skills that I had, but obviously apply them to a different sector. So I think thinking about transferable skills is really key to, I think, everything that we do in life. If we get a change of direction, a change of path, if we maybe have a challenge that we're maybe not prepared for, we must think to ourselves, what transferable skills do I have that I could apply to something else just to be as successful? Because throughout that journey, I became a mother and a grandma as well. I really enjoyed kind of working with young people. I could relate to working with young people. I really enjoy seeing how the next generation kind of views life now, which is quite different to it was where I was. But I think in the early career space, I had an opportunity to come in and join Centrica and look for fully qualified engineers, and then come back and do some more work for them, and come back and do some more work for them. And I think it's all through that was hard work and determination, and just to try and impress all the time, do a great job, leave on a high. And then I got an opportunity to come back in a staff role, fully time in early careers. So I guess my recruitment career spans about 35 years. But the early career space is relatively new. But again, I'm applying exactly that same skill set to that candidate journey, to that relationship building with the candidate, making the experience meaningful. It's a really interesting job because you get to speak to different people, and I'm genuinely interested in, who you are, what you're doing at university, how you're getting on at university. It's the first session of the interview is more like a conversation, just to make you feel really relaxed and get the best from you. But I have a genuine interest in trying to help people as well, because I think it's a wonderful opportunity to come into a place like Centrica. And I feel truly blessed and very proud every year to go out in the market and find talented individuals, give them the opportunities that they deserve with their hard work and commitment. So it's a truly wonderful job, as I'm sure you'll agree, Alexandra. We're really privileged to create opportunity with people. But yeah, just believe in yourself, and do everything that you can to stand out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing
You're
your story.
welcome.
Someone's got some background noise, so if I can ask everyone to put themselves on mute so that we don't pick up any background noise. Yeah, it's gone now. Amazing. And Lisa, thank you so much for talking about your journey. I'm going to pose a question to all of our graduates then, and this is around neurodivergency. And I'm really passionate about this. Before I transitioned into doing what I do now, I did work as a trainee Senko, and also my son has autism. So there's also always going to be questions around, is there support for people who are neurodivergent? And what does that look like day to day? So I don't know if any of you on the call, if you have ADHD, autism, or anything that's linked to neurodivergency. If you do, great. If not, that's absolutely fine. Then I can pose the question back to Lisa. Or if there's anybody that you know and that you work with, and what's being put in place for them, or what their experience is like. So I'm going to open the floor to all graduates. Just, put your hand up or start speaking, and if not, then I'll pose the question back to Lisa.
I mean, I can say something, not specifically any experiences myself, but this is more about Centrica personally. So I've helped out with like conducting the assessment centers, and one of the things that I think Centrica really prioritizes is making sure that every applicant is fully heard. So if you do have any sort of neurodiversity, like anything like that, Centrica will definitely make sure to consider that and really accommodate for that in the best way.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sakib. Any other graduates?
I wanted to share kind of what I've seen in the workplace, in terms of, I think, the kind of celebrating of neurodivergence, and that diversity kind of comes from the top. We have quite a lot of events. We have a neurodiversity network, and they put on events and webinars, and that comes from the top, from CEO, who's giving support to these events and raising awareness for it. Events raising awareness for, I guess, the different ways that it can show up, and how managers can give support. I think I remember one event specifically where we had, I think the creator of Lad Bible came in and talked to us in work about just like things that are common in workplaces, the assumption of like you need to always make eye contact with people, but he's like, oh, you can either have all my eye contact or all my attention, and try and challenge the norms of what is considered like professional behavior versus you know, trying to embrace that diversity of thought and the strength that it brings. So yeah, I've seen a lot of events that I think are really championing it.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Joella. So hopefully that puts your mind at ease for all of you that had questions around neurodivergency. There is, and Lisa, I'm going to pose this question back to you. Is sponsorship something that is offered for the interns?
For the summer intern, it's a 9-week assignment. Therefore, the actual program or scheme itself isn't long enough to obviously consider sponsorship. But we do hold a sponsorship license. That license is still very much live. So obviously, in terms of sponsorship, that could be considered for longer term schemes like a graduate scheme, which is typically 2 or 3 years. But yeah, we hold a sponsorship license, but more so that's more aligned to the graduate pathways, graduate streams.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And also I'm going to pose this question to you from, I believe, Saran. I have 3 years work experience as a financial manager at a small local business. Can I still apply? And before I get you to answer that question, it's a really good question to ask, because what we're finding is that not only are there graduates who are applying and wanting internships, but there are also professionals who have been working for a couple of years and maybe want to pivot or change their career. Are they still going to follow through this avenue, or is there something different for people who have been working for a couple of years and want to pivot into Centrica?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and we do see a lot of applicants that have perhaps graduated 3, 4, 5 years ago. For whatever reason, for whatever path, they haven't managed to either find a suitable role. Obviously, we've had a lot of challenges across a lot of sectors in the UK. So we completely, and of course we had the lockdown period. So we understand that. Absolutely, they would be considered. We would always follow up and have a conversation to determine if the graduate programme is the appropriate route. If they've got some really good experience, is it going to be challenging enough? Because obviously the graduate scheme is very much, if you've got that work experience, it might not be challenging enough, although it's a great opportunity. So we will always welcome applications for, you know, when if you did obviously if you've got that work experience in a full-time, and it would be really good to have a call and explore whether the graduate programme is really appropriate for someone that has that work experience, and therefore would there be other pathways that might be suitable for that individual. It might not necessarily be a graduate programme. So absolutely, it's great to speak to individuals to help them and to give them some advice about, you know, if they do have that work experience. And sometimes when we speak to individuals about that, we can determine whether or not the programme is suitable for them or not.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. Now I'm going to pose a question to Tatiana regarding what your role looks like and if you're using AI day to day, and if not, what are the plans? So basically covering in different sectors, what does AI look like? Is it going to, you know, how is it shifting and shaping your jobs? Because there is a lot of fear around AI. What we want to do is just give an honest overview of what that looks like and what you know in terms of the future of work in your sector.
Yeah, absolutely. So AI in HR is everything at the moment. It is the biggest buzzword. So my job specifically, I'm in the transformation team. So to break that down a little bit, I look after anything that would impact your day-to-day job. So I'll do the not so nice stuff. So I do all the redundancy work. I also do if we're changing offices, if we're getting new locations and moving people's contracts, if we're changing shifts, things like that. And with those roles, we get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of questions. So actually AI is just amazing for us for making almost, we've made this thing called Sen AI, so Centrica AI. There's essentially a big chat bot so people can put their questions in and they will have the policy answer. So there's no miscommunication there. And it really, really helps with efficiency. It helps with effectiveness. and same with lots of the other processes we go through within my smaller team, but actually just the HR function in itself. So we will look at if we're looking to make something faster or just transcribing interviews or meetings, whatever it may be, we will use that functionality, summarize emails to support with grievances or any cases like that. It is everywhere. And it's a real interesting topic at the moment because we have some people who are, you know, the front runners for it and are really, really interested and they know how to do absolutely everything. And like we had someone on a call the other day and they've managed to like AI their face for the meetings. I'm not really sure how that happened. And then you have some people who are a bit more reluctant and a bit slower with it, and that's completely fine as well. Like I had no experience with anything AI at all. Like to be completely honest, the only thing I'd ever use is the one on Snapchat, if that makes sense to anyone, where it's like a chat bot. And it is a bit of a learning curve for me, but it is for everyone else, and we're all on that journey together. Especially in my function. Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving that insight, and especially in HR and people and culture, there's so much of a demand, like you said, in terms of using AI. So it's good to see that there's different levels of adoption and the people that are a bit slower are being guided through it, and that you didn't need to have the experience before you came in as well. So you've answered quite a few questions. I'm going to go to Sakib because I know that there are a few questions around digital technology services or DTS. How are you, if you are using AI, how are you using it within the space, and what does your day-to-day role look like?
Yeah, so the team I'm specifically in is called Group Data and AI. So basically, we deal with most of the AI related stuff within Centrica. And so I'm on my second placement now. So my first placement, I did data science. So that's more sort of the traditional machine learning stuff. So not really the Gen AI stuff that you see now with ChatGPT. So that was more so building predictive models to, for instance, predict the likelihood of a customer to buy one of our products. So that was for an example of one of the projects that I've done now. And in my second placement, I've been involved in more kind of Gen AI related roles. So I guess a recent one is, I think like Tatiana mentioned, we get a lot of requests, a lot of calls. And after every call, we transcribe it. So one of the projects that we've been working on is using OpenAI models and Gen AI models to analyze these transcripts, categorize them, so that we can truly understand the pain points of our customers. And I guess, yeah, it's just a couple of the things that I've been working on. So yeah, lots of AI in my team. So yeah, pretty much it.
That's good to know. And did you have any experience with AI prior to joining your team?
So in my actual degree, I didn't, but in my final dissertation, I wanted to kind of branch out. So I did a machine learning type project, but it definitely wasn't like, I feel like most of the learning that I've done for AI and machine learning has been completely within Centrica. So I think definitely I wouldn't worry too much. Like I said, when they're hiring for the DTS program, they're looking for more for curiosity and passion. So even if you don't have experience, the team will take you on with very experience, and you'll get trained up and get caught the scratch quite quickly. And I'm sure Angelique can say the same thing because she was in the same team as me in her last placement.
Okay, thank you so much. And Lisa, if I pose this next question, it's going to be a couple of questions that I'm going to pose to you.
That's fine.
What is the interview like? What's it like for the internship interview?
It's the first probably 10 minutes is to establish eligibility. Obviously, we've got key dates that we're working towards for our summer internship, so we need to make sure candidates are available. We also need to make sure that candidates are available to attend our assessment centre because we normally just have one date. And then we'll clarify some of the information that you've provided already in terms of the university, your degree predicted result, what you're working towards, what you're studying. So yeah, that's probably just the first 10 minutes. You'd be surprised how many people aren't available to attend our assessment centre. Because of it's just that one date. So it's really key for us to make sure that if we're going to bring anyone to an assessment centre, they're available, but also they're also available to start with us on the scheduled dates next year. So that's all in the job adverts. The second part of the interview is where we get to know you a little bit more in terms of your motivations. We'll obviously do some homework with your CV and ask you some questions surrounding your, what you're studying. But I think for us, it's really important that we understand your motivations behind the particular stream that you've applied for. And we also saw a question about, can they apply for more than one role? Absolutely, yes, you can. However, we can only shortlist you for one role. So we need to kind of establish a conversation to say, look, you've applied for 3 roles. Why did you choose these 3? Where's your interest? Where does it lie? Let's see what relevant skills that you've got in terms of maybe your degree subject or the modules within that, or your work experience or your ambitions, to really see where that passion lies for that particular stream. And your motivations are around Centrica, why you've chosen Centrica to submit your application, and what you know about the energy sector. The energy sector is a very, very exciting place to work. It's very much buzzy. There's always something different happening. It's very much changeable. We, as a business, we've got a number of brands under that Centrica Energy company. So there's a whole variety of areas of the business that you could essentially go into in a summer internship role. So it's having an understanding of Centrica and energy. And it's all about that motivations. Why have you applied to Centrica? Why do you want to work in the energy sector? As well as, very, very importantly, kind of just landing on that stream to make sure that you're applying for the right role for the candidate.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And also another question. Lots of people absolutely want to be on the grad scheme, rightfully so. So does an internship guarantee you a place on the graduate scheme?
There's no guarantee, but our conversion percentages this year are particularly high. So let's remember, that's for the people that we brought into the business this summer for 9 weeks. Before they left the business, they were given feedback on whether or not they'd be eligible for a graduate place. So you leave the business on a high. At the end of that 9 weeks, you're told whether or not you've been successful. Some of the students decided to defer, and they wanted to do further education, which is absolutely fine. We completely understand that. We respect that. It's a big decision. And some of the students were absolutely overjoyed to be given a placement with us for the following year. It means they can really knuckle down in their last year of university, such a critical year, hard work, and they know that they've got a role after that. So the conversion rates are extremely high to be invited back in another role as a graduate. And it's very much strategic and forms a big part of our early careers campaign. It's not just about 9 weeks, it's about using that 9-week opportunity to come back in a graduate role the following year.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Lisa. And the last question on you before I go to somebody else is around A-levels. So I understand that sometimes with A-levels, you had high expectations, you didn't come out with the grades that you wanted. If somebody didn't quite get the A-levels that they wanted, how does that affect their application process for the internship?
In terms of the degree?
Yeah, just is A-levels in
No.
terms of grading something that impacts it in the first place?
No, not at all. Let's just remember that everyone is trying to do their best. And sometimes when people study, they're just, and in the particular, when they're doing that A-levels, I've seen so many students, it's just not been the right time, whether there's having an illness, they've had a bereavement, they've had a mental illness, it's just not been the right time for them to, and everybody knows they're capable, but they just haven't managed to get the grades that they wanted to get. And in terms of that, they've tried again and went on to university, or they've went on to university in something else that they wanted to do. So it's all about, it's about a timing thing with some people that they didn't manage first time, and whatever's happened, that they're on a journey. We've heard that story, but no, there's no relevance. All we're really looking at is what university you're going to, what you're studying is a huge part of it. And when you graduate, in terms of the timings for the summer internship and the year in industry. And if you're doing that, you're doing absolutely great. So yeah, that's the main focus for us.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Now, I've got a question that I'm going to pose to Anjali, which is around what skills and qualities were you praised for since joining as a graduate? So what are some of the things that your managers, your peers have said to you, you know, you're doing really well, we really admire this about you, or what I call a superpower, which is something that you do well and other people are like, wow, that would take me a really long time, but you seem to just do it effortlessly. What is one or two of those things that you've heard from your peers and managers?
I think there's so much that you learn along the whole journey that sometimes you don't pick up on yourself. So sometimes you might think like, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing as well, or I'm a bit behind other graduates. But like you said, it's only when sometimes someone tells you how well you've done, you really pick up on the qualities. Um, I'd say a big one is kind of having the confidence to push yourself and learn stuff that you might not expect to have learned beforehand. So I think one of the biggest achievements that I had during my first placement was not knowing kind of how to code in Python, to be able to create a machine learning model. So I think my manager really encouraged me in terms of being able to learn the kind of technical skills despite me not having any experience in it. And I think that's something that I definitely took for a good opportunity, because it meant that I was able to kind of catch up with those who already had that experience. And then I think in terms of soft skills as well, I think having just that genuine curiosity and interest to say yes to as many things as possible, and pushing yourself as much as possible. I think sometimes it can kind of feel like a comfort zone, not being able to kind of say yes to a lot of stuff, but saying yes to one or two few things that you might not kind of expect yourself to like means that you're able to grow as a person and also find out whether you like certain stuff or not. So just kind of pushing yourself as much as possible that you feel like you can go into the right directions that you would like to go into.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to pose a question to Tatiana. If you can go back to your interview, what you remember of your interview, was there any question that you found challenging? And if it was challenging, why did you find it challenging, and how did you answer that?
Absolutely. One has just come to my mind. So I only did the interview for the internship, and then as was mentioned by Lisa, the internship kind of acts like one big long interview through the process, and they're saying, you know, can we invest in you to become a grad? So this is going back to 2023 now. I remember in one of the aspects of my assessment centre, I was asked, what do you think of Centrica's current changes to their HR strategy? And I had absolutely no idea what was happening in Centrica's HR. I tried to do some research before specifically about the people function and just seeing what was going on. And there really wasn't very much that was public knowledge. And I really, really struggled with that. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what to answer. They're going to think I haven't done my research or anything. I do think I handled it to the best of my ability, and I did get the job, so it was okay. I would advise definitely have a look more at the specific function you're going for as well. So maybe not just the energy industry if it's just in broad. So look at that. But if you want to do marketing, find out a bit more about what British Gas marketing looks like, what Hive marketing looks like. If it's HR, what are the people plans? What's happening there? And I think that would have made me a lot more comfortable and prepared. I think the answer I gave in the end was something like, I've Googled and it's not there, so don't do that. But yeah, just be more aware of what function you're going for within the larger energy sector, I would say.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I also want to pose to everybody in the chat, if there's a question that you feel like hasn't been answered, it would be great in the last couple of minutes if you could just pop those questions again in the chat. And also if the links to be able to apply for the internships are again shared in the chat, so that we can make sure it's at the forefront. You save that link and you get your application in as soon as possible. And also do bear in mind for CV specific questions, we do have a session on tomorrow where we'll dive deeper into that. And I'll give you some time to ask your questions. Will there be more internships or placements opening? What are common mistakes applicants make? Oh, so Lisa, can I pose this question to you then? What are common mistakes that applicants make?
Not tailoring applications specifically to the company they are applying. I know it's a lot of work, and I know that most of you have a lot on your plate right now with your full-time education needs, but please take the time to tailor your application. Tell us why you're interested in Centrica, what stands out for you, what have we got in our shop window that you really like, you know, whether it's the communities or whether it's obviously the diversity and inclusion and everything that we stand for in net zero. Let us know why you like the look of Centrica. Sometimes people don't make sure that they're really putting all of their achievements in their CV. It's so important to kind of showcase everything that you've experienced in life, whether that's personal or university, professional. Put everything in there so we can see everything that you've achieved. Don't leave anything out if it's an achievement. Put it in there, even if it was an achievement from 10 years ago at school where you might have won an award for, you know, sport. Put it in the CV. Don't leave it out. And yeah, just make sure that you've really got that really strong objective. What's your objective? What are you looking for in a placement? What are you looking to achieve? Why have you applied for that stream? Sometimes just a quick kind of summary of really why you've put in that application or the covering letter. You don't need to have separate documents. You can put your objective in the top of your CV. So it's very clear to us. As soon as we see that CV, we know. So yeah, just make sure that it's a fully comprehensive CV basically, but tailored specifically to Centrica.
Thank you so much. And I just want to stress again to everybody on the call and in the chat that the CV related, cover letter related questions we will dive into in great depth tomorrow in tomorrow's session on Friday. So if you haven't signed up to that, make sure that you join then. But again, there are some issues around or some concerns around experience. If I don't have experience, how can I stand out? Is that something that's going to be posed against me in the application process? So can you speak to that concerning experience or lack of experience?
Everybody's got some sort of experience. Now, when we talk about experience, we've got to remember for the summer internship, we're looking for potential, aren't we? We're looking for potential. So work experience is great to have. It shows that someone's, you know, they can hold down a job, they can learn different skills, they can earn money. You know, that's great to have in a CV. But if someone doesn't have any work experience, there's got to be something else that's relevant to that experience, whether it's something within the university. So Joella was involved in all that extracurricular stuff at the university, that it probably wasn't paid work, but it was experience, you know? So is there anything that you're doing in the university at the moment that would be, you know, outside your full-time education? Are you helping other students? Some of the CVs that are fantastic, some of the students are doing maths tutoring, and they didn't realize that tutoring online pays them an income to help students. So it's not even just trying to think about, you know, going to Starbucks and working on a part-time basis. What can you do that's university related as well, in terms of that work experience? But just try and include as much as possible about yourself. And your CV will always be considered. That we're not just looking at CVs that have just got that work experience. We're looking for, obviously, the CVs that show really potential, highly motivated to work for a business like Centrica. Just trying to make that stand out in the CV.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Can I get everyone again to just put their LinkedIn and names in the chat so that you can make sure that you're connecting with as many people as possible? Obviously, you do want to make sure that you're connecting with Lisa and all the other graduates who have shared their time this evening. It's been really, really valuable. Please also do provide feedback in the chat, and I know that you will continue this conversation after today's session and just share one thing that was valuable. And obviously, if you do have additional questions, by all means, pop them in the chat. If there's in our session tomorrow, if it's CV and cover letter related or just application related, we will continue that conversation tomorrow. One final, I guess, question that I'm going to pose to Anjali is, why Centrica then and why Centrica now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think what initially interested me to Centrica back then when I was applying was, I think when I was looking through the website, I think you could tell that they had a genuine interest in sustainability and their ambitions to net zero. So you can see like a list of their various projects that they have going on. I think also Centrica is one of those companies that not a lot of other companies are like, where we have lots of different businesses under one. So that means that we can get exposure to completely different sides of the business, but they all have an important part to play in kind of creating that Centrica success. So I think initially it was kind of seeing their ambition to net zero and having those strong targets and their people on planet plan, which you can see online as well. And I think that interest and kind of determination for net zero is what sparked the curiosity and kind of motivation to apply, because I wanted to be a part of a company that truly cares. And I think now, why Centrica? I think being here for 1 year on the grad scheme and then also the summer internship, I can genuinely say the culture at Centrica is amazing. I think everyone's really happy to help, and sounds a bit cliche, but everyone's kind of really friendly whenever you want to reach out to different parts of the business, whether or not you're in a similar team or not. Everyone's genuinely happy to kind of have that conversation. Even with my managers or other people's managers, they always kind of make time to make sure that you're getting the best out of your own role, and also helping kind of support that learning journey. So if there's some skills that you want to learn that's completely not related to your actual role, my managers have always been really kind of encouraging that aspect in making sure that I have time for that as well. So yeah, I think it's kind of a mix of making sure that the employees are kind of really satisfied in the work, but also seeing the work that Centrica does and how important it is that we're involved in these projects that create that ambition for net zero.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm going to hand back to Demi. Demi, if there was anything that you wanted to add before we close.
All I just want to add was fantastic session, guys. All your questions are so insightful. Like, you guys really did come here today to really get the knowledge. So thank you so much, Lisa, Tatiana, Angela, and Joella. Thank you so much for coming to today's session and helping our community understand what it is that Centrica is all about. Now, guys, I've posted into the chat the link for tomorrow's session. Alexandra will be leading our application support session tomorrow as well. So all your questions about CVs, cover letters, does this go there, does that go there, all of that will be answered in tomorrow's session. We also have an interview prep session on the 31st of October as well. So if you go to our Loom as well, the link will be in the chat. Sign up for that too. Feedback will be posted after this as well. But thank you guys so much for turning up. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening. And we hope to see you all in tomorrow's session. And we hope to possibly see all of you guys, if Centrica can take all of us, working with Centrica very soon. Have a wonderful evening, guys. And thank you so much. Alexandra, any last words?
No, just hope to see as many people tomorrow, because you have lots of CV and support application questions. So Friday, I know it's a Friday evening, but make sure you join tomorrow.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.